Good evening, everyone. Time for another silver update. We have finally penetrated the rising trend line that we have going all the way back to late August of last year, and you can see we're just nudging out of that line right now. The MACD is also rolling over to the downside. We pull back one to the 8-hour. You can see right here we penetrated, and the next target will be this support line at about 31 and a quarter. Now, as I pointed out before, this volume is very key because this volume is all support volume. But if we cross over somewhere in the average of where this volume came in, so we're looking at something around the current point. Can't say for sure, but if we do move down to this line, if we surpass this low, then that creates heavy downside momentum because it makes all of this volume downside volume if we move down. So we're going to have to wait and see if we get a bounce back, but this is definitely a bearish signal to get this type of move below this trend line, which has been tested at least 1, 2, possibly 3 or 4 times. So we have to hold out the possibility that this move is going to take us at least down to this line, and below that there's not a lot of support. We have to move back out to find that, and it's really going to be right about here. So the potential is a large move down to around 21 3/4 to 22. I would be very surprised to see that, and if we do get that type of move, it will present a tremendous buying opportunity. And with that, I want to jump over to some of the physical prices that we're looking at and some of the deals that are out there. First of all, let's jump over to eBay, and I did a lookup on the last purchase that I made was the Silver Tiger. If you remember, I purchased those when we had the pullback to 25 right here, and they were 30, so there was a $5 premium. That's about 20% premium or so. Now you can see on eBay these tigers are currently going for, this is done in order of high to low, so the highest we're talking 69, 66, 64, 62, 56, and then we go all the way down to about 49. So you can see the premium on that coin is anywhere from $20 to $25. So as the price has fallen, the premium really has not fallen with the price. So that's one of the reasons why I encourage people to purchase the known mints, the government mints, whether it be Canada, US, Australia, or even New Zealand or some of the other European ones. Speaking of that, I wanted to try to look at some of the bargains that are out there. Now, the one that I had purchased most recently, just as a thing to play around with, was this Silver Taku, and this really is a beautiful coin. I only bought, I think, 20 of them or so, and it's even more impressive in person than this picture. It's a beautiful coin. Everybody who's purchased it has commented to me how impressed they are with the coin. It's down to 37.35, which is pretty reasonable. I think I picked mine up at 39 to 40 or so. But if we get a drop down, you may be able to pick up this coin for low 30s, mid 30s possibly. So that would be quite a deal. And the other coin I'm looking at right now is on APMEX, and you actually have to go to the clearance. Well, let me jump over first to the Tiger on APMEX, because they're still selling those. There aren't too many left. If you go to the Lunar Series, you can see a list of all the Lunar Series 2 coins, and they do still have some of these 1 ounce Tigers. There's only 17 of them. You can see they're asking 64 to 66, about what they're going for on the high end on eBay. So that coin is pretty much what I thought it would do. It's a very beautiful coin, unique, and I expect it to be a collector's item. So, but the one I wanted to go to is kind of an interesting coin, and it's in the clearance section. If you go to APMEX, you can go to a clearance section, and you can find that by scrolling up to the top, and then they have a link here on the left called clearance, and you click on that. It shows you all the items that APMEX currently has running at clearance prices. And when I did that today, I came across a very interesting sale, and it is the North Korean 10 won. I didn't even know this coin existed, but it's the celebration of a general who lived, General Ri Sun Sin, and he lived in the 1500s. And you can see the coin it's actually kind of an interesting design. And what's so attractive about this coin is that it's a .9237 ounces, and you can see the price on it with silver bid at 34.38 by 34.43. This coin, if you buy it checker wire, it's going for 32.29. So if you do some quick math on that, if you take this price of 32.29 and you divide by the .9237, I didn't put the point in there. But anyway, it comes to about $35 an ounce. So with silver trading at 34.40, 34 or so, you can see that's quite a deal for a coin. And you can see they say here as low as 49 cents per coin above spot. Now, a lot of people would ask, well, why is that such a low price? I think the reason is probably just because of how controversial North Korea is. You can see there's 1466 in stock, but I'm going to pick this as kind of a long shot as far as collector deals go. And if we do have some type of historical event that occurs, perhaps unification of the Koreas or something else that happens, this may actually turn out to be a decent collector's coin. And with the price as it is, you're getting this coin basically at spot. So it's hard to see how you could go wrong with this coin, assuming that this really is as pure as they say it is. I can't imagine. APMEX is a pretty reliable and trustworthy place, so I can't imagine that this coin isn't what they say it is. So that's my recommendation right now. Something you want to track as prices drop. If we do drop down to this support line, or if the great deflation scenario pre-QE3 occurs, we may actually drop down to this line. Now, if you remember, they did a deflation scare, and the way they pulled it off was through the oil. They opened up the strategic petroleum reserves, and I think it was 30 million barrels of oil or something like that. You can see our oil prices actually dropped down below support as well. Do I think it means anything? No. I've read some of the analysts that said that it's a day and a half's worth of oil, so I don't see a lot of significance to it, but they did manage to use that news to cap the gold and silver prices, which were getting ready to move into new highs, and of course now they're rolling over and heading down. So that was an interesting maneuver by the powers that be, and it looks like they have started to begin to roll out some type of deflation scenario so they can possibly give themselves room to roll out either QE3 or some type of QE3 operation. Obviously, with the Fed buying as much as 80% of all treasuries, there's not really any wiggle room for them to stop. If they did, interest rates would skyrocket and it would be game over, because the percentage of debt as far as revenues is so high that they'd basically break the bank if they let interest rates go. So it looks to me like they're setting the stage for a QE3 or something like it, and we may get a nice dip down, ideally a very sharp dip down, possibly down to that 32 or so, and maybe even the 22. If that happens, hopefully a lot of people have some dry powder so they can jump in and pick up some physical at great prices. And we'll talk to you next time.